Okay.
Extraordinary is even more.
I'm okay. Okay. Today, I'm going to talk about my near-death experiences and my worst injuries that I can remember. I often look these types of things up because I want to know what's going on in people's lives. Because this is stuff that people normally don't just talk about. It's like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? I'm good. How are you? It's not like I almost died. Is it? I don't know. But, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That was the weirdest noise I've ever made. Death. It's something that's gonna come, and for me I thought it was gonna come a lot sooner, several times, but although I couldn't really remember because I was 0, but you never know. Anyway, I'm gonna touch on a lot of subjects that have happened in my life. So my first near-death experience happened when I was 14 hours old, and I think I've told this before, minorly. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on it. Basically, what happened with me is my lungs collapsed, and then they had to put tubes in my chest right here. I have 2 scars right here, and they puffed them up again. That's just my first thing. I can't remember any of that, obviously, but apparently it was really scary and I almost died, so that's a near-death experience if I've ever seen one. I don't know. My next, I don't know what order this is in, but basically I remember when I first learned how to walk. I was a really big old troublemaker. I was walking around, I learned to walk when I was 1. I feel like that's the age of people who fluently walk, if that makes sense. My older brother was taking a bath, and then he and then I walked into the bathroom when my mom was on the phone, and then I was like, whoa, that's cool, in my head, because I couldn't talk yet, obviously. I was like, that's cool, let's go in there. I leaned over the bathtub, and then my body did a flip, and I went into the water. And my brother was only 3, and so he was just having a fun old time. He didn't really understand what was happening. He just was kind of splashing me. He was like, haha, fun, Mary's in the tub too. Whoa. I obviously was drowning. So my mom walked in and she was like, oh, Spence, let's do your thing. And then she was like, oh, there's a baby in there, another baby. And she was like, oh, it's Mary, or so. I don't know how to impersonate my mom or what she did. We went to the hospital and then I'm fine. But basically my head was purple or something, and that's another event in my life. I'm just gonna go through the baby ones pretty quickly-ish. When I was 3, I went to one of my friend's houses and we were playing with chalk, and it was one of those really big old chalk ones, those Crayola crayon looking ones. And I was like, whoa, this looks tasty or something, and then I ate it or swallowed it. No, I didn't even chew it, I just swallowed it and it was in my throat. Took up my whole entire esophagus, and then I just started choking, and then I went to the hospital again and we fixed that as well. Another baby thing that happened, I don't know what order these are in, but I think I was 2 maybe. This isn't a death thing, but it would have, I'm surprised I'm not blind, or I don't have any issues with sight. I have 20/20 vision or something like that. I don't know. I don't know why I'm not dead, or not dead, but visually dead. You know, dishwasher detergent, how most people nowadays have the liquid. Back in the day we had I'm pretty sure still some people have the powdered kind, but usually it's either liquid or in those little pouch pod things, you know. But we had that powder, and then I was walking around again doing my mischievous activities, and I saw this nice old bucket of white powder. I was like, that looks fun! And then I splashed it in my eyes, and then they had to put goop in my eyes, and that fixed that apparently. So those are just some major injuries. Those are my early stages of life. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have these types of stories. It's getting dark-ish. Then as I grew a bit older in the world, another big injury that happened when I was, I think, 4. I was in preschool, okay? And we were on the little playground, and we were just running around doing just preschool things. I don't know what day it was. It was bring your family to preschool day or something. These twins, I know who they are still, and I see them at my school sometimes. There were these 2 twins, and they had brought their dog because it was a family time, I guess. Dogs are family. I was running around, and this dog came charging at me, and I was like, what the heck is happening here? And then it trampled me, and it almost broke my leg, and then I started crying, and I wouldn't stop crying for 20 minutes. When I was 10, I was jumping on our trampoline. It's still over there. It was me, one of my brothers, and my sister was bouncing us. You know how when you go on the trampoline, you can double bounce someone? I don't know if people still call it that, but if you land at a certain time, you can make them go really high, you know? And so my sister was doing that to us. Me and my brother were sitting in the middle, and she was double bouncing us, and it was really fun. We're like, oh, this is great. And then she went inside because she was in high school and she was like, okay, this is enough. Like, I don't, like, I'm cool. I need to go do like homework or something. I don't know. And then so she said that she was gonna come out later. And so instead of waiting for her, my brother was like, let's try to do what she did, but like with one leg, and like run around the trampoline with just one leg and try to double bounce each other. I don't know why we thought this was a good idea. We should have just waited for my sister, but we were impatient. And then my brother did a double bounce thing at the complete wrong time when my leg had like just hit the ground or the trampoline, and then my leg bent the other way. And this, my friends, is called hyperextension. It was extraordinarily, that's a new word, extraordinarily painful, and I couldn't walk correctly for about a week. I had to walk like this with this knee. It was this knee, I'm pretty sure, and like it had to be bent. I couldn't straighten it. So I was like walking with like my knee bent like that for like a week, and I couldn't straighten it, and it hurt so bad. That was, I think, one of my most painful moments. Another big injury in my life is when I like sprained my hip. I didn't break it and I didn't dislocate it, but I definitely like sprained it or cracked it or incomplete fractured it or whatever you want to use medical terms, I don't know. And it was when we were doing roller derby, when I was in roller derby as a young little child. We were doing this little fake example type thing where we just had our like equipment on, but we didn't have any skates on. We were just doing it in socks and going around, so it was really slippery. I was the jammer, which is like the point scorer. It's like the one that goes as fast as they can around, try to break through this little wall that people make. I don't know, I don't want to explain roller derby to you right now, but basically that is basically what was happening. And so I was going around as fast as I could, and each time I go around it's a point. And so I had just broken through the wall, and then my best friend at the time stuck out her leg. She was on the opposite team, and it was just all fun and games, but she stuck out her leg and I tripped over it because I was going like as fast as I could trying to break through these things, and I didn't have skates, so I didn't have anything to like land and keep going. It was just like a sock that was like, it wasn't any traction at all. Tripped me, and then I landed on the gym floor with my hip just directly on the floor, and I laid there, and they kept on going a little bit, and then they were like, wait, she's like dying. And I laid there for about like 20 minutes crying to myself, and there was a huge crowd around me, and I tried to get up and tried to walk, and man, oh man, I could not walk, and I thought I was gonna die. But obviously I wasn't gonna die. This isn't like a near-death experience, it's just one of my worst injuries. It was not a fun time at all. It was, yeah, I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and even after that it was like it was oh, I almost fell over in the creek. Did you see that? You probably didn't. I think I have like 2 more things that I'm gonna say before I go. When I was, I think 7, I was like learning how to swim, you know, like actually learning how to swim. We went to a hotel and we had this little like boogie board type thing, you know what I'm talking about? Like this type of thing that when you swim, you like could hold on to it and then kick. Because we were in this hotel pool, and it was one of those hotel pools without lifeguards. Like it was just like, use at your own risk, parental supervision is advised, or something like that, you know? And it was a really crowded pool, and it was just me swimming around with my little paddleboard, and there was the adult with her child, and her child was maybe like 4 or 5, like a little younger than me, and she was like holding on to her mom, and they were kind of swimming around. And the mom came up to me and she's like, oh, you're such a good swimmer. And I was like, thank you. I work really hard. I'm really good. And I was just using my little board. I was like, yeah, I'm such a good swimmer. She was like watching me, and she was like, maybe let's call, I don't know what the kid's name was, but she was like, hey, Sarah, maybe one day you can be like that kid. And I was like, yeah, you'll be like me one day. Like, sure, I'm so cool and so good at swimming. So about like 10 minutes passed or something, and my brother Spencer came in, and he was like, hey, I want to use your board thing. And I was like,
no, Spencer, don't take my board. Don't take my board. I need it to swim to impress this lady. Because her
I don't know what I was thinking. He shouldn't have done this, but he took the swimming board thing away from me, and I couldn't swim. I honestly like couldn't swim. I didn't really know how to swim. I was only like 4 feet tall, and it was like in the 6 feet section because I needed to impress this little girl. And Spencer took the thing away from me, and I just kind of like sunk down, and I was like actually like I was like trying to not die. Anyway, Spencer was like, oh, you need it, and then he gave it back to me. But it was like 10 seconds later, so it was like just 10 seconds of being like and then once I got up above the water, and like I was kind of scared, so I got out of the pool. I saw the lady look at me, and she was like, and then she went back with her kid and did something else. But ever since that moment, I've been like, I was trying to impress them, and then they got disappointed in me, and they were like, oh, she can't actually swim. She was just using that board. And then ever since then, I was like, So, another quick, I think the last thing I'm going to talk about today is when I was in England with my family. I was like near William Shakespeare's place of origin, and we were looking at this wall, or where this wall used to be. I don't know exactly what it was. I can't remember. We had this tour bus, and they had just briefly stopped, and they let us out for like maybe 5 minutes to look at this thing real quick. It wasn't even on their like agenda. So I was on my way back over to the bus, and my dad was right behind me, but a lot of other people had already gone on the bus, and I wasn't really looking. I just looked up, I saw it said go, and so I started to walk across the street. But then out of the blue, out of freaking even nowhere, this car came like zooming down at like 60 miles an hour. It was like a 25-mile zone or something like that, or kilometers, I don't know exactly. Basically, it was really, really, really fast, too fast, and so I was about to walk out in front of it because I saw the sign, it said go, and I was like, they should stop, but I was just being dumb. I don't know how old I was. I think I was like 11 or something. Obviously, they weren't gonna stop. They were going like 60 or 70, and they were like really close. It came so close that I almost got smashed and deaded in the ground, but instead my dad pulled me back, and I'm still alive. But that happened. Yeah, that's all that I'm gonna talk about today. Those are like the main ones. I'm sure there's like, I can think of already like a lot more that I forgot to tell. Those are at least most of my major near-death experiences and major injuries in my life. And yeah, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and all the YouTube-y things. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe because like I really want you to. Or reverse psychology, I don't want you to subscribe, huh? So make sure to not subscribe. I'm tough. Oh, it's cold now. Anyway, good night. I mean, not good night. Goodbye. I love you, and I hope you have a good day, or at least had a good day or something like that. I love you, and I miss you. Okay, shut up. I love you. Bye.
With a whisper, and that was when I kissed her, and then she made my lips hurt. I could hear the chit-chat.
And it's really bright, and I'm gonna cry because of how it's burning my eyes. Do I want to move or do I not? That is what I'm thinking.